Old friends are like old memories. They always remind you of your past, and we are reminding ourselves of the past episodes from this week of Good Company for the best of Good Company with me, Hollie Taylor. I'm Hollie Taylor, and I love this story. It is from Rick, and he is a Florida Panthers fan, and he and his son made the trek all the way to Edmonton the other day to watch the Oilers play. Now, I think they're hoping that the Panthers would have won the cup, and it would have been a cool celebration. But the Oilers did win 6-1, so yes, there's still a chance. The hill will be very steep, though, for the Oilers moving forward. But I love this. The goal of Rick and his son are to go to every single arena before he says he exits the world. And so he wants to be able to experience this with his son. And so, yes, Edmonton was on the bucket list. They can check that off. But I just thought, what a wonderful way of creating memories. It's not too often that we get to hear stories of fathers and sons traveling Canada and the U.S. to be able to do something, and I would say pretty big. There's a lot of hockey stadiums to check out. So there you go. But it got me thinking about some of those traditions that maybe you and a parent or an aunt or a grandparent were able to do together. My grandmother and I used to travel, and so we went to BC on a bit of a road trip. We've done some of the U.S., kind of the top part, like Maine. What else have we done? Rhode Island. We went all the way, though, from Toronto to Prince Edward Island together. So for me and her, it was a wonderful tradition of traveling throughout Canada. Do you have a story like that? Would love to hear it. 905-338-1250. Some of those beautiful traditions that you've made with a role model. I'm Hollie Taylor. We were talking about what we would love to do and when we retire. I was going to say like in our second life, but that sounded really weird in my head. So the opportunity to retire, would you just travel? Would you find a new job? Producer Mike, what would you do? You're retiring from radio. You're in your golden years.
It's so far away.
I know, you're like 12, but just dream big dreams.
Okay, maybe when I'm a big boy one day. I always thought it would be cool to have a coffee shop.
Oh, that's cool.
Just a cool little local spot that the locals hit.
Yeah.
You know? I think that'd be cool.
What would it be called?
I don't know, but maybe a fun play on like grounds or...
Yeah, Mike's Coffee.
Grinds or keeping up the daily grind. I don't... There's something clever there.
Yeah.
I got a good 50 years to think of it.
You do.
Yeah.
You do. So start thinking because those names weren't really good.
No, okay.
I'm very encouraging. All right, what would you do or what are you doing? 905-338-1250. Fred says that he's actually been volunteering at his church, working on security detail. I love that. Frank, thank you. Our church has security, and it's very helpful because if I'm ever lost, like, where am I going? When I first started going to the new church, they would say, this way. And I always just felt like I was safe and taken care of and seen. So a very important job. Like ushers, but more serious looking. If there's something that you would love to do once you retire, or maybe there was a career shift when you retired, 905-338-1250. Joy. Yes, that's the station that we're listening to. But also, we're going to talk joy today because there was a new survey done with millennial parents commissioned by the conductors of Talk Research. So they put this together as they wanted to find out how confident millennial parents are in creating joy in their household. And here's the thing. A lot of them say, yeah, we're pretty good at that. 86% said they feel confident in their ability to make small moments of joy for their family in an average day. And I love that. 91 believe finding moments of joy can have a positive impact both on their own and their kids' well-being. And so they are finding joy by making their kids laugh, by being silly with their kids. 46% said by cuddling, and 43% said by doing something spontaneous and fun with their kids. So I love that. And, you know, we can find joy in the mundane. Maybe that means cranking up the music or just finding a way to be silly. In our house, we have spontaneous dance parties, which always is fun and generally leaves me breathless. I realize the older my kids get and the more active I try to be, the more out of shape I've become. So I work out so that I can be silly and have fun with them. So I'm curious to know, for you, how do you find joy in your day? Are you able to create joy out of those small, precious moments? I'm Hollie Taylor. Maybe you're looking for some fun locations to visit through our country. As summer is here. Maybe you want to add something new to that summer bucket list. I have for you the top 10 tourist attractions in all of the land. So from coast to coast, what do you think are the most visited attractions? Producer Mike, gonna put you in the spot.
All right, let's see. We got the high tides out east, Nova Scotia. There's a big nickel somewhere in Ontario. You got big mountains out west. No?
You are over 10.
Okay.
Come on, look a little closer to home.
CN Tower.
There you go.
Okay,
yeah. Oh my goodness. The number one place people love to visit is Stanley Park in Vancouver.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. Number 2 of the more popular tourist locations is CN Tower. Old Quebec coming in at number 3. That's actually still my bucket list. I was supposed to go when I was younger with my grandmother in one of our many adventures, but her poor van broke down, so we didn't get very far. Oh man, Bouchard Gardens. Have you been there before?
No, I haven't. Where's
You're
that?
like, what even is that, Holly?
Yeah, Bouchard Gardens sounds very fancy.
Yeah, and that was a place that my grandmother dragged me to when I was younger. Because I was like, what gardens is this? It's actually in Victoria in BC, and it's beautiful. It's 100 years in bloom. So if you go to Victoria on Vancouver Island, definitely a place to check out.
Okay.
Yeah, so there you go. What else do we have? Old Montreal. Yeah, that's fine. Parliament Hill and buildings, I guess. Although, my poor kids, I'll be dragging them through it in a couple of weeks. Royal Tyrrell Museum in Alberta, Drumheller area. And one more, Great White Bear Tours? What is this? Number 9 on the list of most visited tourist attractions. Okay, I'm going to Google it. You think of more that should be on the list, and we're going to explore Canada. I'm Hollie Taylor, and we were talking earlier about some of the incredible places to visit across Canada, as our country is vast and there are so many incredible things to discover. But it's also interesting when you are traveling and you realize that as Canadians, we definitely have a unique culture. If you go to the States, I mean, I never feel more Canadian than when I step onto U.S. soil. And so some of the things that make us Canadian and set us apart from our friends south of the border are things like asking where the washroom is. You know, in Europe, it's like the water closet or a restroom, but they know we're from Canada when we say, where's the washroom? Also, we take our shoes off at the door. Why would you want to traipse in somebody's home and leave muck from your shoes about? So yes, shoes off at the front door, and little things like, oh, I'm sorry, I'm just going to squeeze right past you there. Little things we say that actually show that we are respecting the space and the bubbles of other people. Producer Mike, what is something for you that is truly Canadian?
I remember being in Charlotte, North Carolina at a restaurant. My mom asked for a serviette.
Yeah.
The look on our waitress's face was like, huh?
Sorry, that's French for napkin.
Mom, you asked for a napkin.
Oh my goodness, I love it. For me, it's the candy bar. Like, no, it's a chocolate bar.
Yeah, okay,
there's no
that's
candy in it. It's chocolate.
Yeah.
Oh man. Anyway, things that make us Canadians. If you're traveling to the States and you can think of more, feel free to send them our way. Otherwise, have yourself a great weekend, and we'll do this all over again to kick off our final week of June here on Good Company.